4, 3, 2, 1. CTS Podcast, episode 51. We're just coming off the back of 50 episodes.
CTSP EP 51.
It's kind of crazy. We're closer to 100 episodes than we are to starting. It's kind of weird to think about.
Yeah, that is how math works.
Oh, okay. You're going to lecture me on math. That's cool. Whatever. We finish the discussion off podcast. Okay. Did you see the thing with, who's the White House press secretary?
Jen Psaki.
Jen Psaki. With her about Biden visiting the border?
No.
So, they're in this press conference, and some reporter, I think it was a Fox News reporter, asked her, like, so did Biden, asked her about Biden visiting the border. And Jen Psaki was like, well, yeah, Biden has visited the border. And then they kind of pressed her on it, and they said, well, like, when did he visit the border? The border visit she was referencing was a 2008 trip where he drove through El Paso, Texas, while on the campaign trail with Obama. That was the border trip. And this is, like, straight from Jen Psaki, not like a spin or anything. That's what she was referencing, was a 2008 drive through El Paso. They didn't have any dedicated stops at the border. Just a casual drive through.
So she lied. I mean, basically. That's like
no,
so
she didn't
much
lie.
Of a
He went to the it's
would
bad. No,
consider
it's
that
really
a lie.
bad. I just can't believe, like, nobody really called her on it.
That's like saying, oh, have you been to New York? It's like, yeah, I've been to New York. It's like you just flew through.
I had a layover,
in
in JFK. Well, I was flying to Orlando and had a layover in JFK. Yeah, no, it's a weird one. I feel like Jen Psaki gets a pass from a lot of people. And I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I'll see clips and they're like, Jen Psaki totally owns, like, Fox News reporter. And I'm like, I don't know if that's what that video is depicting. So it's kind of weird that that's your caption for it.
That Fox News reporter they have in there, though, is a total dunce.
Oh, yeah. He's super dumb.
Dunce.
But he got her on this one because he got her to say that Biden's visit to the border that they were referencing was, like, not anything. It's so weird. It's weird that you would lie about that.
Yeah, it's just such a weird thing to lie about. Did you see Trump's new social media?
Yeah.
Have you heard what the rules of it are? There's like rules.
Really? No. What are they?
So some of the rules include you can't use all caps. So you can't type message. You can overuse of capitalized letters.
Wasn't that like Trump's thing? Didn't he do
Yeah.
that all the time?
Yeah.
Is he the only one that can do it?
I don't know.
I guarantee he'll be able to do it.
And then you can't criticize the platform in app. You can't criticize it. So like on Facebook, you can type, Facebook sucks. So does Instagram. It's like, no, you can't. You can't do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Those are like the two main rules?
Those are just some that went viral.
Stuck out. That's
Well,
so weird.
The like platform went public or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it went up like 1,000% because people just dumped a bunch of money into it as like a troll. And people probably made money off of that too. Like, if they put in a bunch of money, they made a lot too. Yeah.
That's so bizarre. How long do you think before it folds?
The app?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like it'll probably stay around. I don't know if it folds.
But who's gonna
entirely,
adopt it? Like, what's
all those Trump supporters did.
But then they're just gonna sit there in their little, like, Trump supporter chat and not argue with anybody?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right? Like, that's why people are on Twitter, is to, like, argue with people. So, I don't know. I feel like if you made an app where there was no argument at all.
Have you ever responded to anyone online?
No.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, never like a politics thing or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I've never been like, that's never gotten to me where I'm like, oh, I have to get them anonymous like person that I have no idea who you are, will never meet, and will never interact with again.
When I was younger, I used to do it with soccer, with soccer stuff that people would post.
Really?
You idiot.
That's funny. Yeah, I know. Definitely not with politics, because you're never going to, like, convince somebody of anything.
Yeah, no.
It's weird. It's a weird
It is
one.
weird. Did you see, in California, what? I just lost my train of thought. I always do this. I start something and then I just completely forget. That's what I was going to say. Boosters are now available. Like 100 million Americans are qualified for boosters from all three of the vaccine providers. Pfizer,
Can't you, like,
Moderna,
mix and
Johnson
match,
Johnson.
too?
I'm not sure, but what's weird is I'm pretty sure the FDA said no to a Pfizer booster, didn't they?
Yeah. Or was it the FDA or was it, like, the NIH?
It may have been the CDC.
Or one of those other... I think it was the FDA that said no, and the CDC said yes.
Let's look it up, because we probably shouldn't talk about that kind of stuff if we don't know. Let's just search FDA says no to COVID booster. So,
like, they don't recommend.
Are you gonna get it?
A booster?
Mm-hmm.
Probably. If they say it's, like, good. I don't. It's like there's so many other vaccines we have.
I don't see it anywhere, but I'm not making that up. They did say that you couldn't do it, right? They said you couldn't get a booster for the Pfizer one. It was one of those agencies that said that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think
they voted
no,
and then the CDC director overturned it for, like, medical workers.
I think the only time I heard about it was you talking about it on the podcast.
Okay.
So.
Well, I know that happened, so I'll have to find it after the podcast, but...
Yeah, it kills me every time there's, like, a YouTube video about about, like, boosters and stuff. The comments below are like, I can't wait till 2036 when I have my, like, trophy case of all the different.
Okay, dude.
My 40. It's like
really? You're like, yeah. They're like, where's your vaccine card? You pull it out. It's like a scroll. You're like,
it's like an ancient scroll. You have, like, a herald reading it for you.
And let it be declared that Baron J received 986 doses of the Pfizer vaccine.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, it's not unprecedented for vaccines to have booster shots. Like, there's a ton of vaccines that we have that have booster shots. So
I'm sure I'll get it.
And you get a flu shot every year, right?
Yeah, I probably won't get it every year just because I don't get a flu shot every year anyway. But
yeah, no. It'll be interesting to see if they roll it out, how soon they roll it out and say, like, everyone has to get it. Because I wonder if, like, places with vaccine mandates and stuff, do you think they'll require you to be up to date on the booster, or just that you got it originally?
I don't know. I think it depends on if if the virus gets worse or people continue dying or anything like that. Well, did you hear that Sydney or maybe it's Melbourne? I think it's Sydney though. No, maybe it's Melbourne. Just got out of the longest lockdown.
They're out?
Yeah, they're out.
They finally
it was like
escaped.
2 years or whatever.
Then they can get attacked by, like, giant spiders and poisonous snakes and stuff down there.
Isn't that nuts? 2 years?
And it was like an intense lockdown. It wasn't like lockdown here where it was like lockdown. Like, you can still kind of, like, go outside and do stuff. And it was like an intense lockdown.
There's a video that went viral. I hope I can talk about this kind of stuff. I actually don't think it's that weird. Of a guy that had posted something on Facebook of, like, an lockdown protest. And the police showed up at his door and said, like, did you take this picture? Like, the police showed up.
In Australia. That's crazy.
It's kind of crazy. We don't have stuff like that in the United States. I mean, we do for, like, some people that, like, they, like, allude to terroristic threats and they'll have the FBI show up at their door. But like the bar is pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as we know, right? I mean, the bar could be lower. Like, I'm sure there's a watch list.
Yeah, you don't know. Like, yeah, but that is so weird.
You can find out if you're on a watch list through, like, the Freedom of Information Act. You can, like, request your FBI intelligence
It's like
or
it,
whatever.
but the watch list is just like their like Netflix watch list. Like it's like of the people that they watch because they're spying on everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, you're on Agent 34267 recently watched. No, yeah, that's nuts. Well, did you hear about in Australia? We might have talked about this on the podcast already, so you can stop me if we have. But it was like some MP in Australia that like he just like went out and was doing stuff and was like posting pictures, and people were like, what on earth? We'd get fined like $1,000 and like potentially arrested if we were doing this stuff. Like, how is this okay for him? They're like, well, he technically had like a reason to leave his house like 3 days ago, and this is still a continuation of that work. And so he's all right to be doing this stuff. And he like took like a boat tour of some river in Australia.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really weird, actually. That's yeah, I mean, it's sort of the same thing, right? We had like there was all that controversy. Wait, who was it about? There was some leader in the United States.
Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, that's who it was. It was Gavin Newsom that was out eating at a restaurant without a mask or whatever.
Yeah, well, and then there was the AOC one where she like was like hanging out with all these people, and then she's like, okay, let's take a picture, and sticks her mask on for the picture.
Really?
And but they had a video of her like no mask, and then they take the picture and she takes her mask back off.
What do you think about politicians going to like the Met Gala? Like there was a big controversy about AOC going to the Met Gala.
That's a weird one because especially because that whole like environment is such like, it's not like the people at the Met Gala aren't all like super like Hollywood liberal people. So like, who are you? I don't understand. Like, she's at the Met Gala because it was like a tax the rich, or like, what was it? Was it
She wore a tax the rich dress.
tax the rich dress, but it was a designer dress.
Yeah.
Dress to a Met Gala that like tickets cost like, it's like $30,000 a table. She got
that
free
was
tickets.
The kicker.
Yeah. So, and it's just weird. I'm not quite gonna make the argument like, oh, like how can you like consume products of the system and still
Well, not even that. Do you just
criticize the
agree with
system?
politicians going to these formal events with like Hollywood elites
like
or
celebrities?
yeah, or it's like you know, a senator going to the Grammys or something.
Yeah,
like
I think
that.
we're probably past the point of no return on like those worlds being overlapped. Like after social media came out, where people like get a following, they like now that politicians have a following outside of just their constituents, like they've crossed the line into celebrity, I think.
Well, not only that, but I mean, people donate to like famous politicians that don't even live in their state.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
people were
AOC
donating to
was like
AOC.
90% of her funding was from outside of New York.
I think that should probably be illegal. I mean, I think the whole campaign finance structure should be done away with. But, yeah, I think that's weird to me that you could finance, I don't care about AOC. I'm not picking on her particularly, but I'm saying in general, politicians shouldn't accept donations from out of state. It should be the constituents funding their.
Yeah, I guess because then you run into issues of like, is that discriminatory against if you're representing people with lower income?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, can you, like, then you have no chance to.
Yeah, but you're going to be running against someone that, you're going to be running against someone that also has those same restrictions, right?
But if you're representing, like, say someone's like representing, like if one person's primarily representing wealthier constituents who have more of an ability to donate.
Yeah, but you're going to be running against someone for the same district, right? That's why I'm confused. You're going to be running against someone who has the same constituents.
What if you're like, say there's like a Republican member of Congress that's running against a Democrat, and you have a place where there's like a city, they're running for a city, and you have most of the constituents are not as wealthy, and then you have a few super wealthy constituents that are going to vote like Republican. So then they can raise a bunch of money. If most year, I don't know, I just think you'd run into a problem where that gets you in trouble.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Not that I'm not sticking up for
No, you are.
campaign finance laws.
You definitely are. You're a campaign
we've spent
finance.
hours. I am Citizens United. But I definitely think campaign finance laws need to be reformed. But I just don't know if that might be an issue if you just limited to only in your state.
We've talked about this before, but I can't quite remember what you said, and it's become in the media as of late. Do you think we should do away with the filibuster?
I don't think so. Just in the
Why?
sense that I don't like the idea of, well, because we don't like that this rule is stopping us from getting our way, we're going to change like the structure of like the political system. Because I mean, I'm sure there was a time when Republicans like would have wanted to get rid of the filibuster because like Democrats were using it. It's not something exclusively used by Republicans. It has been more recently, but I don't know. I don't like the idea of changing the system just so we can win in the short term.
It's kind of like ripping off a Band-Aid. Like, you have to do it at some point. And I think the filibuster's broken. I think requiring 60 votes is just ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous notion that you can win an election and not really win because you don't have essentially a super majority. It's like they can block everything. They can just block everything. That seems so silly to me. So I don't know if you do away with, I actually wouldn't mind doing away with it. I don't know if one party is going to suffer in the short term, but eventually everyone kind of gets their fill on it. But I definitely think it should be taken down, whether it's like 55 votes, and you have to require that people actually give like speeches.
Yeah, a filibuster can't just be like, we're motioning that we're going to filibuster. So like, we're stopping this. If you're going to filibuster, you should actually have to get up there and talk and talk and talk. Like, I would be a fan of that. I don't know. I don't like the idea of a simple majority being able to do whatever they want.
Let's get into that. So why? Like, I understand. I mean, I guess I understand. I would agree. I don't like the idea of a simple majority being able to do whatever they want. But I think
it's part of the checks and balances thing.
You think the filibuster is part of the checks and balances thing?
Yeah, for sure.
I think it used to be. I don't think it is anymore. I mean, the filibuster, it used to be that there was very little need for it. And now as things have become more polarized, it's being exploited.
But isn't that like...
I think anything that's being exploited as far as checks and balances go should be reformed.
I don't know if I would agree, though, that it's like...
You don't think it's being exploited, or you don't agree that...
I don't think that just because it's being exploited and isn't perfect, I don't think that it means that it's no longer like upholding those checks and balances.
So would you be open to reforming it, or do you think that 60 votes should still be needed?
I think you should be able to change. It's not, the filibuster isn't specifically like the 60 vote thing, right?
What do you mean?
Because 60 votes, like, how long has it been since somebody had 60 senators?
Well, it's 60 votes to like end a filibuster, to override a filibuster.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe
it's 60. It may be 61. Let's see. If only we had like a Jamie sitting right there.
Yeah. That's coming if you guys will.
It's so lame that I'm just like,
we can eventually have
pull up my phone. Okay, yeah, the Senate it's cloture. They vote for cloture, which requires 60 members to end debate. And
Yeah.
the reason the filibuster's being exploited is because like debate never ends, right? Until you get 60 votes or until the other side decides to end cloture.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the idea, right, is to foster compromise, right?
That was the original
you need-
idea. Yes.
But it's still the idea. Like that's the idea of it.
I don't know if that's how it's. I don't know if that's the idea anymore. That's the idea that was the idea of the founding fathers. I don't know if that's the idea of members of the Senate now.
But does that like? I don't know if you should. I think you should change it so that it gets more back to the original. I don't think changing like the votes to like a simple majority or something like that goes. I think we need something in place that fosters compromise.
What?
I don't know, but I don't think that getting rid of the filibuster fosters compromise. I think it does the opposite.
No, I agree. I think, but it has to be changed, right? I mean, requiring 60 senators to end cloture or to vote for cloture seems ridiculous. 60? That's too much. You can win. I mean, if the other side chose to, they could just completely stop everything. They could just stop the Senate from acting pretty much on every bill.
But they don't stop everything.
Almost.
Mm.
Everything but appointments and like 2 other types of bills.
So they haven't passed anything in the Senate?
I'm saying they can. They have the ability to if they so choose.
I understand they can,
which is the antithesis of compromise.
But I think that compromise has to mean that like if there would be no reason to compromise if the minority couldn't stop the bill going through. Right? If you could just push it through with a simple majority, there's no reason to compromise.
So say that again.
If
I'm
you
sorry,
can,
I lost track.
If you can push like a bill or whatever through the Senate with a simple majority, there's no reason to compromise.
Oh, I see what you mean. No, yeah, I agree. That's why I'm saying it has to be changed though, because 60 is too much. It has to be brought to a lower number. It has to be. I think it should be 55.
Yeah, but then when it's 55, is it like then does it become the same argument if a bill doesn't get pushed through? Like, I guess I just don't know what it's more of a commentary on like how partisan politics has gotten than the actual filibuster.
So your remedy for more polarized politics is basically instead of fixing it, you have to fix the politicians. I guess I'm just confused on
yeah, I don't think you're fixing anything by getting rid of the filibuster. I think you're just facilitating more polarized politics. Because then everybody knows
sort of agree
that all I have to do is have the president and get 50 senators, and I can do whatever I want. So there's no reason to compromise. There's no reason for sides to work together. There's no reason to bridge the gap. I just think that the filibuster probably isn't perfect, but I don't think the alternative is just completely getting rid of the filibuster is a good solution either.
So do you believe whatever side wins an election, as far as like Senate races go, deserves to have more power than the minority?
I think they do with the filibuster.
No, I'm saying the side in power. Do you think they deserve to have the side that wins? Do you believe they deserve to have more power and control in government than the side that loses?
Yeah, but not absolute power, which if you get rid of the filibuster, they do.
I don't know if I would quite agree with that. I don't know if they would have quite absolute power.
I mean, pretty close. If you could push anything you wanted through.
I mean, you only need one senator. You only need 2 senators to disagree with you, right? If it's a 50-50 tie, you would only need 2 senators to side with the other
But
side.
if we're making the argument like, oh, well, this is the the ideal, but in the real world, almost every vote goes party lines. right? So it becomes, I mean, almost every vote goes party lines. So if you, I just don't like the idea of having no incentive for people to compromise. And I think the filibuster is an imperfect.
No, I agree. I don't like the idea of having no incentive for people to compromise, but I don't like the idea for example, like requiring. I, I don't know what the best word for it is, but I don't like the idea of the minority exploiting the filibuster, which I feel is being done. I feel like the filibuster is being exploited right now. And I think the only way to change that is to change the rule. I'm not saying it's a good idea to get rid of it, but there needs to be a better remedy for compromise than what is currently in place. Because what is currently in place right now is essentially preventing any real change in government.
Yeah, but I guess that's if you change the politicians, then the filibuster works, right? Like, if people are more willing to compromise, then the filibuster works. So I think it's less the filibuster and how it's being used is less a problem and more of a symptom of the real problem, which is like how polarized politics has gotten, and kind of the corruption in like lifelong politicians.
I would 100% agree, but it's like pick your poison, right? If you can't change this, you might as well change that. And I don't think anyone's changing the current polarization in the Senate or in government in general.
Yeah, I just almost
So your
think,
only choice is to change what tools are available to them.
yeah, I guess if we have a binary like no filibuster, I think I fall on the side of we should still have the filibuster.
I would agree, but it's got to. Do you believe it should be changed, or do you believe it's fine how it currently is?
I think we should change some. I don't know exactly what to change about it. Like what I'm not like super well versed on every aspect of it, but I think it should change, but to get it closer to the primary goal of facilitating compromise in the Senate.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. It's not a bad take, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was loud. Sorry. Okay. Do you want to wrap this one up?
Already? We're wrapping it up?
That's like 30 minutes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
CTS Podcast EP 51. Get rolled.